Folsom, California is becoming one of the fastest growing cities in California. This November, they might be raising the sales tax in the city by 1%. We'll talk a little bit more about that, as well as pros and cons of living in Folsom, California that you need to know about if you're thinking of making the move to Folsom. Aaron, is it the schools? Is it the new homes? Is it the lifestyle? Folsom is just right now, it was ranked as the number three fastest growing cities in California in general, which is huge. And today we're going to break down Folsom and tell them why people love Folsom and the growth potential, all that stuff. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, there's a whole lot to love about Folsom, which, by the way, if you're looking for a home loan in Folsom, whether you're buying a house or refinancing, reach out to me. I'm the local area specialist. But Mark, how's your weekend, man?
Good weekend, fantastic. Showed new homes, so resale, and we had a new listing pop on the market on Friday. And like I said, guys, if you're thinking about selling your home or if you're looking to jump into the area, we are a true relocation team. We've bought and sold in every part of the Sacramento area, Placer, El Dorado County, all that stuff too. So we'd love to work with you. But let's jump right into the video. Folsom, we love it. People love it. It's one of the spots we get a lot of calls from. What are your top things about Folsom that you love?
When it comes to Folsom, at least in the greater Sacramento market, it's really hard to beat. And Folsom's always been a top community. But over the last, couple of decades, they've done a phenomenal job with just building the city. And, so whether it's the housing, the schools, the sports, outdoors, really there's just so much to list. Where do you want to start with, really? There's just so much to tackle.
I mean, honestly, there is a huge amount to tackle. I mean, we got first of all, the schools, which people love. You got Vista, you got Folsom High School, you got all the elementary and middle schools as well, too. You have a brand new elementary school in Folsom Ranch, which people just love. And in that neck of the woods, they're also building another high school, another middle school, elementary school. So, schools, if you guys want to, and schools are subjective, so go to greatschools.org and type in Folsom. But a lot of people love Folsom for the schools. But here's one of the things, too. The sports programs at the schools. We're getting some looks from some colleges. We got some pro players that came from Folsom High School. Things are going good, and sports are big in Sacramento as well too. But what do you think of the schools?
I think they're all great. I mean, I hear about it from my wife all the time. Folsom and El Dorado Hills are pretty much, some of the top contenders. I'd also mention that, when it comes to schools, one of the unique things about Folsom is you also have Folsom Lake College, which is a top-notch community college, in a really awesome location. So, for those that, are looking to kind of extend the education timeline without having to, relocate, there's a whole lot of options once your kids get out of school as well.
Well, here's another thing, too, that I've noticed since after COVID, a lot of parents and a lot of people want to keep their kids kind of close to home, right?
Sure.
Back in my days, we were sending people to JCs by the college, but nowadays it's like people want to keep people close, and it's good to have some junior colleges and some options after they graduate high school. And like I said, I think a lot of kids are doing that, and it's nice that we have that. But one of the things for me, and let me show you this map, man. I mean, imagine playing football right here, and you got water views. I mean, that's crazy. Look at this. This is Folsom High School. We're not going to show Vista. We're not going to show all that. I just want to give you a little idea of what kind of school it is. Look at that. You got tennis courts here. You got it looks like a little kind of like a mini college over here too. Really nice and everything too. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Really nice. I mean, as somebody that went to Elk Grove High School, class of '99, when I went to high school, the buildings, the facilities, they had been around for decades. This school is relatively new. The high school used to be like closer to Sutter Street off of Bidwell back in the day, but they, Folsom grew, and so did, the needs for the school. So the facilities are phenomenal, not to mention the awesome, football stadium and all, it's hard to beat when you're comparing it to some of the other schools in the region.
And here's Vista. Boom.
Yeah.
Vista's got it all. A great lacrosse program, all that stuff too. Vista's out there. I mean, man, this is crazy. And here we go with some of the areas I like as far as the homes with, and you might not see it on this map, but these are the homes that are like, I don't know, maybe like over a mill. They've got some nice views. I know you really can't see it here, but they got phenomenal kind of views out here as well too. Let's see if I can get some views going. Yeah, you got views and everything too. So Folsom, as far as its schools go, elementary, middle school totally do not lack as well either. They're amazing, and so people love the schools in Folsom. Now let's go talk a little bit about the lifestyle. I mean, lifestyle is kind of one of the main things people kind of, schools, lifestyle. I mean, a lot of people from the Bay come over here because, they want that kind of like slower pace. They want the family. They want the community. They want it all. So what do you think about the lifestyle over here?
I think that it's pretty amazing, the access to, various outdoor activities, sports, shopping, all the different kind of resources that somebody would want to tap into, but also, basically be in like a, quote unquote, like sleepy suburban, neighborhood, low crime, all of those things. Folsom's awesome. It's kind of, and I think you got a map of it, but you're basically like wedged between the very large Folsom Lake. And then like what we're seeing here in this map right now is Lake Natoma, which kind of like is fed from Folsom. But, if you're somebody that likes going on walking trails, bike trails, hiking, canoeing, kayak, fishing, paddle boards, on the weekend, you'll see like 5 million paddle boards out on that whole area. But it's just like the way that they design the whole community. Most of the neighborhoods, have a lot of bike and walking trails natively like built through them. It's just, if you're somebody that likes spending time outside, but you don't want to like relocate to the mountains or the country, it's hard to beat all that Folsom has to offer.
Also in this old, kind of older spot of Folsom, it's kind of old Folsom, old town Folsom, whatever you want to call it. For the most part, there's also wine tasting rooms, and there's a lot of spots that have been kind of revamped. You got Chicago Fire. Like Aaron said, it is crazy. You got people with their like paddle boards, their rafts. Everyone goes over there during a hot day. It is a very fun vibe. If you're coming to Folsom, guys, it can get a little confusing, but I would say just, maybe go Chicago Fire or Old Folsom, go in there and see it. Because if you go directly to the like new homes in Folsom, which we'll get to in a second, like you're going to miss some of the reasons why people love Folsom. Some of the reasons why, like, hopefully we preserve this stuff that is basically like, the thing, boating, paddleboarding, hiking, mountain biking, all that kind of fun stuff. We've got it all here in Folsom, which is nice. So if you're thinking to yourself, Folsom Lake, yes, Folsom Lake is there. You get your boat and everything too. But we've got the American River. We got all this kind of stuff happening as well too. So lifestyle wise, it's really fun. You also have community. You got the movie nights at the park. You got volleyball activities. Soccer's huge. We got Costco in Folsom as well too. We got shopping. So Folsom's kind of one of those spots that also is affordable California. And like I said, I always tell people, like, as far as like the California lifestyle, as far as what you're looking for, it always kind of centers around like, what can you get actually to buy? Because, at the same time, people are like, yeah. But I mean, if you look at it here, I mean, as far as the price points, if you compare it to like LA, if you compare it to like the Bay Area, I mean, Folsom, guys, hour and 20 minutes from like Lake Tahoe. You got wineries close by. You got everything. And I mean, I know these prices for people who might have grown up in Sacramento might be like, whoa, this is crazy. But comparatively, these houses are like triple, maybe even 4 times as much in the Bay Area. Oh, yeah. And you're seeing some amazing houses, price points. I mean, Folsom's really got it all. What do you think about the price points? What do you think? I always call Sacramento affordable California, the best spot in California. What do you think?
Well, I mean, as a, local that's born and raised out here, looking at those price points, obviously I'm like, holy cow, how did Folsom get so expensive? But all of Sacramento and real estate has over time. And the reason that Folsom's gotten to that point compared to some of the other, markets around here is just how desirable it is. I do think that, especially when comparing it to the Bay Area, LA, some of the higher priced markets, you can't beat it. So, I mean, especially if you're able to take your Bay Area or LA money, your income with you, and you go to Folsom, you're going to be living like a king. There's some super sweet pads out there, really nice neighborhoods, some custom stuff. And just with the access to the lake and all the, the various resources, it's really hard to beat. I will say though that, it is in the higher price points of, the local Sacramento markets. But again, if you're looking for, the really great schools, the really nice houses that are all, basically in close proximity to a lot of really great resources, you're gonna pay for that, and that's what you see out there. We haven't really dove in much on the shopping, but I think that's a big differentiator from Folsom versus some of the other suburbs around the region in terms of what you have access to, which of course, brings up the desirability, supply demand, hence, why you're spending the price points you are to be in Folsom, right?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think the truth of the matter is like, you got your shopping at the Palladio. I look at Folsom shopping being it's its infancy, right? We're thinking about like, we don't want to go too commercial and have these crazy malls out there. We want to still preserve Folsom for its natural beauty. So I like the kind of like the boutique-ish kind of like malls that they're thinking about creating, especially over in the Folsom Ranch area, and the new homes and everything too. But I mean, one of the things too is, and before we go into the new homes, because that's a whole nother thing, one of the things that makes Sacramento and Folsom for the most part like an amazing spot to live, it's also because like what I found out, number one, is that 4 of the top like medical facilities or whatever, we have actually campuses being built in the Folsom area. You got Kaiser, Sutter, UC Davis Medical Center, and Dignity. They're all going to be these large medical campuses based in Folsom. So we're getting a lot of doctors, nurses, and just the idea of that type of building happening there is crazy. You got that new sports facility being built in Folsom Ranch as well too. But there's a lot of people betting that Folsom is going to be that spot that just pops out in California. What do you think of that?
They've been working on the expansion in Folsom for quite some time. I mean, I can think back like 15-ish years ago, going to some of the, the Folsom planning meetings and hearing that they were going to build, somewhere in the neighborhood of up to 35, maybe up to 50,000 houses down there. And just thinking like, yeah, whatever, that's never going to happen. And then you fast forward, years into the future, and I mean, wow. I mean, they're just building like crazy down there, and the demand just remains really, really high. And a lot like similar to Elk Grove. One of the things when it comes to Folsom, you can really see it well in this view right here, is there's a ton of room to grow. Like up there where it shows like White Rock, basically, if you're on the south side of Highway 50 where new Folsom is growing, there's a lot of vacant land out there, and it keeps going south for, until it basically hits Elk Grove, California, which, that we talked about that last week. But, the growth potential out there is huge just because there's a lot of space still to fill in. And with all those major employers, we haven't even talked about either there's not only do you have a ton of medical going in there, but Folsom's kind of become like a little mini tech hub. Obviously it's not like Silicon Valley, Cupertino or Mountain View or whatever, but it started with Intel, obviously, but you got a ton of tech companies based out of there. So you get a lot of those high paying jobs, tech workers, and all the offshoots from it. So you add in all the medical professionals and all the other stuff that's out there, and you can just see how there's a lot of room for growth. I feel like if you can afford it, you can't go wrong with Folsom. There's not a lot of bad things to say about it.
Well, the thing about Folsom also is this, just like you said, I mean, many kind of tech used to be such a powerful thing. It was like people moved to Folsom because of Intel, and Intel and Samsung tend to still have strong presences in the Folsom area. But now what you're noticing with Intel doing some layoffs and everything too, it didn't really stop Folsom's growth or progression. Like it's leveraging, or it's leaning less on their tech and saying, hey, tech is this way, and going more towards other things. Like it's close to downtown, about 23 minutes away. You got a lot of medical. typical. You got a lot of jobs also because of the building over there. You got like all the schools being there as well too. So it's kind of more like diversity of jobs. It's not like so weighed down on tech, and which is nice to be in that type of market, because if you're going into a recession economy, you got a lot of people there that have state jobs too. They're like, we're zooming it. We got a couple days for the work, but we're also, and we've moved in tons of state workers into the Folsom area. So I love that idea of having an area that doesn't just isn't so reliant just on the tech market, which Folsom used to be. Now it's fantastic. I mean, as far as like, I was doing some stats, we've got a stable financial status. We've got a high credit rating, Folsom does, and Folsom's got reserve in its banks. So it's like you're going to see a lot of stuff happening in Folsom. Folsom has been coined as now it's becoming a destination city. People just go to Folsom. I want to go to Folsom. I want to go paddleboarding. I want to jump on a boat. I want to go somewhere where I can hang out, relax with the family. So what do you think? I mean, like, now we're kind of changing and we're seeing cities becoming more destination cities. What do you think of that?
You know, like we've discussed, you've got all the different shopping, restaurants for days. There's so many options for restaurants out there. So if you're a foodie, there's a lot of good stuff, which, I'll give a plug to Visconti. That's kind of my favorite little spot out there. It's an Italian restaurant, family owned, still ran by like Frank, I don't even know how old he is. Like, gotta be like 80 or 90. He's still back there, like doing stuff, sitting in the tables with people. Try out the lobster ravioli. It'll change your life. But with all the money that's going into Folsom, like you talked about, like that sports facility, and we kind of touched on sports a little bit in terms of, kids sports and collegiate sports and all that stuff. There's so many different facilities out there and just different things that exist out there because there's a lot of money out there that you won't find in other areas. There's just so many things out there that people are just, that's just a place where you're going to go to. Similar to like Roseville, but Folsom, I did make a list of the downsides to Folsom, but it's a very short list.
Now, here's the thing. I got a downside, but it's because there's so many good things happening in Folsom. In November, guys, and this is it. If you guys live in Folsom, if you're thinking about moving in Folsom, there will actually... you'll have to vote on this. It's Measure G, Folsom Residents Public Safety and Quality of Life Act, that wants to raise the sales tax in the city of Folsom by 1%. So one of these things is like, we like to keep you guys informed. We're not just like a point and click channel on things. We also want to keep you informed. So if you live in Folsom, guys, be alerted that this is going to be something on the ballots in November to vote on, because Folsom is growing. It's developing, like I said, becoming a destination city, but they want to raise the sales tax there by 1%. So if you live in Folsom, be aware of it. It's just something to know. That's the only, I don't know if that's really a con, because as cities develop, as cities grow, these are the type of things that are going to there are just things to to consider, you know what I mean? But just be aware that this is going to be on the ballots. And if you guys are interested about it, if you guys want to learn more about it, reach out to my team or reach out to Aaron and we'll tell you a little bit about it. Now, if you are someone who's looking for a new home, and I know a lot of people are, and I get it, new homes are big things and everyone loves new homes too. There's tons of builders out there for you. There's Toll Brothers, Active Community 55, and Preserve. There is Taylor Morrison doing their community out there too. There's TriPoint, there's Lennar. Woodside is a new player in town. There's Beezer. There's a whole bunch of them out there too. So KB is out there as well too. So every builder underneath the sun is there. Now, it is slowing down just a bit. Taylor Morrison is going to be selling off the rest of their homes, and that's the last you'll see of Taylor in the area. Toll Brothers is hurting just a little bit as far as price point goes out there. Beezer's doing okay. I think the big ticket right now is still TriPoint with Canterley and Lariat, if people want to keep it under $700, which is insane for a brand new house in Folsom, California. But new homes are out there, guys. And like, our team does more new homes than probably any other team in the area. We'd love to talk to you a little bit about it. And we can give you the Pepsi challenge between builders and between areas. But we definitely like the Folsom Ranch area. So, Aaron, as far as you go, though, there's a lot of people who maybe went to contract with builders and everything too. And 'tis the season for the refi. What do you think of a person going with the builder's lender versus going with someone who's local?
Well, I mean, obviously local, I feel like it always matters because they're going to know the area, the nuances, the taxes, all those things. But, a lot of times, to be quite honest, the builder's lender, they're going to know those things too. So when it comes to the builder's lender, they're going to basically, do everything that they can to get you to work with the builder's lender, because guess what? The builder, they make more money if you do that, because they typically own the lender or they have a financial arrangement with them. But here's the thing, is that the incentives that a builder will provide to you in order to work with their lender, it ebbs and flows with the demand of the properties they're trying to sell. And so what we've seen recently, which it hasn't been like this for a while, but ever since rates have come back down, what we've seen is that the builder incentives have either evaporated or have become very insignificant in many cases. And so we've been actually able lately to provide significantly lower rates. Like this last Friday, for instance, I provided 2 quotes for somebody that was buying with KB Homes, for instance, 2 different people that just happened to, be down the street from each other, relatives. And the rate we were able to offer was literally a half a point lower than what the builder was able to offer, and still giving the same incentive. So it's like the incentives ebb and flow, but that doesn't mean that the builder's lender's not going to be the best choice at times. It just is ultimately going to come down to what's going to get you the best deal. And then remember, down the road, you're probably going to refinance anyways, which, shameless plug, I would love to be the guy that does your refinance. The builder's lender, they don't care about that stuff. Reach out to me and I can take care of that for you. But like always, guys, I just recommend that you shop around, get a couple of opinions. That way, when you're doing, as Mark says, likes to say, do the Pepsi challenge and, just see what tastes the best. But, go and shop and get the best deal for yourself.
All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like I said, Folsom is blowing up, the number 3 fastest growing populated area or growing cities in California. Stable economy, a lot to come in the future of Folsom. If you're thinking about making the move to Folsom, reach out to my team. We'd love to work with you a little bit, talk to you a little bit about Folsom. And that's it, guys. We are done for the day. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next video, guys, we are out of here. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video on Folsom, California, and why it's the top 3 fastest growing cities in California as of right now. If you're thinking about Folsom and making the move over there is definitely something you're contemplating, reach out to our team. We'd love to talk to you a little bit more about it. Also, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. And we got another video for you right over there about a different area, but you should definitely watch it because it's going to help you get educated in the Sacramento area. And if you're thinking about making a move, that video, it's for you.